Hey everybody, this is Dominic DeAngelo of BrassRingMedia.com, and I am happy to be with today Mr. Kip Sabian, an AEW original. Yeah, how about it? This Sunday, we got Forbidden Door. It's Kip teaming up with Nick Wayne against Hope and Christian. Kip, it's good to be here with you, man.
Hey, it's good to be here. It's a big one you're talking about right there.
All right.
Very big one.
When that news broke that you were facing Cope and Christian, and this is like a tentpole kind of tag team that you're up against that many teams would want to clamor to go up against. And it's a pretty historic match. How does that feel like when you got the word about all that?
It's definitely one of those matches that I was talking the other day about my my dream match list, as in like the matches I really wanted to have, like, you know, back when I first started. And I've ticked most of those off now, like, which is wild to me to actually think about the fact I've ticked most of them off. This isn't one that was on my bingo card. I didn't think this was something that was, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
the wrestling the Hardys was definitely one that I didn't think was going to be on the bingo card either. But this is to me like this is the big one, isn't it? You know, like you think of legendary tag teams, you don't really get much more legendary than Adam and Christian at this point, do you?
No, you really don't. And it's such a surreal thing because it didn't feel like for years that would happen again. And sure enough, like the stars aligned and literally we had.
They did. Me and Nick aligned. And when me and Nick aligned, you know, the stars aligned and things happened the way they did.
They did, right?
Yeah.
Talk about
what an honor it is for them. That's pretty cool, isn't it? You know what
I mean? That's it, right? To go against the AEW originals. This is a first.
I know. Won the first ever singles match in AEW history right over here. Just for those of you that joined the party late.
That's right. Double or nothing.
Now gonna beat, you know, Cope and Christian for the first time that they've teamed in. I think it's 11 years, maybe longer.
It might be longer. I think.
I'm pretty certain this is the wild thing. I'm pretty sure that this is the first time that they have teamed on pay-per-view since before Nick was born.
What? Seriously? That's wild. Nick is 19 now. Is he 19?
20 years old.
Okay, he's 20. Okay.
And he is the most impressive 20-year-old I've met in. I think the closest thing that I could say to Nick Wayne was a young Ospreay, maybe, in terms of where you just go, there's something about this kid, you know?
Well, yeah, let me ask you, because, you know, you work with a veteran like Christian, but then you also work with somebody like Nick Wayne, who's like new in the business, but very talented. And obviously,
well, here's the thing that people forget. Nick is not new in the business. Nick has been wrestling since he was like in diapers, pretty much. Like his dad, Buddy, was regarded by pretty much anyone that all the stories I've heard, I never met Buddy, but all the stories I've heard is everyone said how great a wrestler Buddy was. And it goes to show that Nick, you know, that passed over to Nick. He's also one of the most genuine human beings that I've met, especially for someone who is 20 years old and is wrestling on national television, is wrestling, you know, globally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
He has every right to be an asshole, and he's the best, man. A lot of love for Nick Wayne. Shout out to Nick Wayne right now, you know. But let's talk about this match.
Yes. So just getting the stakes set that high, being Forbidden Door and at the O2 Arena, are you kind of excited about the prospect of getting cheered a little bit in dynamic against somebody like Cope and Christian, because you're the hometown hero in certain ways, but at the same time, you're facing two legends?
Yeah. I think that's not really a concern for me, so to speak. I've always regarded it, and I've said this quite a lot. I think that if you love me as a pro wrestler, then you have good taste and you understand pro wrestling. Let's go. If you don't like me as a pro wrestler, you have terrible taste, and you know, that's up to you. It doesn't really bother me. If you boo me because I'm doing a good job as being a pro wrestler, let's go. If you're one of these individuals that has no reason for it, doesn't understand the business, and just decide you want to, be an asshole, then I don't really care about your existence. See you later. So if you cheer me, solid, good choice. If you don't like me, solid, don't really care. I'm there to just, bust Christian's teeth in. That's pretty much it.
working with Christian, how was it like? Because I mean, like, he's great at what he does, but he's also very, very funny. Was it tough to keep a straight face a lot of the times working with him?
I would say no.
Mm-hmm.
He has an ability to draw you into what you're doing that it feels real. I'd say like it's the closest to method acting you could potentially have because it is pretty real, to be fair.
Right.
I would say that as much as I can sit here and say, you know, I'm going to beat Christian's ass, which I genuinely believe I'm going to do. I can't take away the fact that that man is probably, well, no, not probably. He is one of the greatest of all time. I have never met someone that has worked with Christian that hasn't told me a story where he changed their viewpoint on wrestling, or he helped them understand something differently, or they realized what being a true professional wrestler was from wrestling him. And I mean,
Right.
he's done it all. He's been from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs. And I think the one thing that I've learned from him is that he always believed in himself and knew that he deserved more than he had at certain points. And look at him now. He's
Mm-hmm.
genuinely become one of the top heels, I think, ever in pro wrestling. And that's a testament to his ability and a testament to his belief. And I feel like, you know, a kindred spirit in that regard, because I feel like that's how I see my career too, is the fact that I've done it all. I can do it all. And he helped me realize that. So as
Well,
much as I respect him, I'm going to kick his ass on Sunday.
yeah, 100%. The neat thing though about it too is, yeah, you're right. Like, Christian's been somebody that's been able to evolve and adapt to the modern era in certain ways and change his persona to fit the bill that's needed. And in a lot of ways too, you've been experimenting and throwing stuff out there. I remember interviewing you way back at Double or Nothing 2019.
Yep. Actually, yeah, damn, ages ago.
Wow. Man, ages ago. And like, you obviously being an AEW original, things have so much changed since then. What was the big change for you in AEW, and how your career's been going in AEW in a lot of ways? What's been a big standout point for you?
I felt young when we started, and now I feel old. That's the difference. No, I'd say I've had access to some of the greatest minds in the business for the last going on 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an individual who always wants to learn more. I like to constantly evolve. I always like to try and push the boundaries of things too. I would say that the change from AEW from then to now is that look how big we are now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you said in 2019 when TK, the Bucks, Kenny, you know, when all of that started, if you said, "Oh, by the way, you're going to bust out Wembley Stadium," that's wild, mate. Like, think about it. Like, now it doesn't seem like that much of a crazy situation because of how we're doing, like O2, you know, 30,000+, whatever it is. Yeah, solid, got it, done, easy. But think back then to the first Double or Nothing, if you said like how big we were going to be in such a short span of time, because people forget that.
Yeah.
People forget that 7 years is not that long a time.
Mm-mm.
To see what, you know, the company, what TK, what, you know, everyone in their position have done to grow this company to where it is today. I'm just super psyched to be a part of it. You know, hopefully for the foreseeable future, for, you know, I would happily be an AEW original for life. I love the company. I love the roster that I get to work with. I love the access that I have to these great minds. I'm benefited to also work alongside my wife, which is awesome. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think this company is something that has completely changed my life. So I owe everything to this company in that respect. However, I am going to beat Christian's ass. I want to keep getting back to that.
Make sure that reiterate. Yeah, we'll reiterate that too.
All I would say is just we've grown on a grandiose scale. Our roster now is easily one of the best rosters that has ever been assembled, to the point that you can interchange anyone for anyone and you wouldn't even notice anyone was missing.
Right.
Example, right? Darby, one of the best. Darby's great. Darby went and climbed Mount Everest.
Right.
The show didn't end. The show continued.
Right.
You know?
Uh-huh.
When Kenny went through his diverticulitis, show didn't end. Show continued. We have such a wide scope of a roster, it's pretty impressive to look at,
100%. How's it been kind of like when you guys started off and everything too? You had AW Dark, AW Elevation, so there was some opportunities to kind of hone.
Hey, I got to wrestle Kenny Omega on AEW Dark back in the
How
day.
about
That's pretty sweet.
Isn't
That's what we were doing for our Dark matches back then.
Back then, right? It's crazy. But
impressive.
How do you keep kind of honing those skills now that some of those programs are away? Obviously, there's Collision and like ROH and some opportunities for that. But what has adjusted for you from an in-ring standpoint to kind of keep fresh, so to speak, I guess?
I mean, I try and train as much as I can, obviously to stay on, point. And I feel like, every time that I've had a bit of a break and then I've come back, I think I've not really missed a step when I've come back. I'd say my viewpoint on wrestling has changed from a perspective of I'm always trying to reinvent myself for what's next. I've never been someone that's wanted to kind of just be a one-trick pony and stay on that line. Some of the things work, some of the things don't work. I mean, I'd probably say I'm out there as being one of the most throw it at the wall and see what sticks wrestlers of all time. I'd say the stuff I did with the underrated over it box head stuff, I think is one of the most interesting and freeing experiences I've ever had in pro wrestling. And I don't think many people can say that they got that from pro wrestling, but like I've kind of seen everything in that regard, because once you get amongst the people and you've got this box on your head and it's like, it was like this, I can see you, but you can't see me mentality. I started to feel what was going on through the audience. It was kind of cool, man. It was like it was a social experiment is what I used to like to call it to the guys backstage. It was like a social experiment. I was learning while doing it. And it was some of the most fun I ever had, man, was putting a box on my head and just doing mime art. Like, but then it transitioned into the wrestling. I still think the way that me and Pac did that initial reveal, which I think people also forget about, which I'm going to talk about it because it was genius. So not only was I standing in the crowd myself every single time, not only did I fly out to England to go and sit in the crowd for an independent show that Pac was doing at the time, you know what I mean? Flew out there. When we did the final reveal, eventually, he gets sick and tired of seeing me standing behind him Halloween Mike Myers style. So he goes over there and takes the box off. And it was just a random dude I found backstage that I'd given a black eye, put some tape over his mouth saying, "Look behind you." And now we get the reveal. So boom. Awesome. You know what I mean? Like that to me is one of my favorite things that we ever did,
Yeah. Is there more you wanted to do with that too? Because it was such an intriguing viral kind of thing that I was like, what is Kip doing back there? Like,
I think it was one of those things where it was just, I still think there's legs. Who knows? Wrestling is, there's no end point to wrestling. Who knows if the box comes back one day? It could do. Who knows? There was another version of it that I didn't even debut that is sitting in storage. So who knows? You never know. That might just be a piece of history that's there. I think it was just a situation of it wasn't the right time for it. And I think that's the same with most things in wrestling or in, life in general, is sometimes things might be brilliant, but it might not be the time for that brilliant thing.
Right. The creative aspect shifts.
Yeah. And I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. And I believe that, that not going the direction that I hoped it would eventually led me to being in the position I'm in today, where I'm getting to be in the, return match of Cope and Christian, like everything happens for a reason, because of that, I got to, learn from Christian on a crazy level, you know what I mean? To have that, to, actually spending time with Nick and realizing how much potential Nick has and how invested I am in whatever I can do to help Nick. That is something that I'm very invested in, is like, I see him as my little brother, like last year, my actual younger brother had a cardiac arrest. He's okay. It's a story I haven't really talked about on any of these things. So you're, I guess, getting a first here, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Long story short, he had a cardiac arrest. just dropped. He was on a run, dropped. Thankfully, the woman that found him saw him fall. She was CPR trained, started CPR straight away, sent someone to go get a defib while they called an ambulance. Ambulance got there as the defib got there, shocked him, got him to the hospital. He was in a coma. They told us, this was November last year.
Wow.
They told us we don't know what the situation is going to be, because I didn't know with CPR that it's all about brain damage. It's not about trying to restart the heart. It's about keeping blood flowing to the brain.
Yeah.
So they didn't know how long he'd been out at this point.
Oh, man.
He's now, the only thing he doesn't have is a week before, a week after. He doesn't remember. He's back to full health. He's got a defib fitted in his chest, so he basically can't die now. He's like Iron Man. So yeah.
Oh,
so,
good to hear, man.
But because of all of that stuff, I'm very close with my younger brother, and Nick has almost become a younger brother to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because my younger brother's 28. You know what I mean? Nick's 20. So it's like I'm very close with my younger brother, and I feel that I have a very, closeness with Nick too, which is why I think we make such a good team together. And I think he sees me as the older brother as well,
And yeah, very much so. It keeps things in perspective too when that stuff happens. And like,
100%.
You definitely think more about other than yourself in a lot of ways, outside of like, oh man, I got to cherish what I have around me. And like, certainly with the Nick.
No, for sure. But it also makes you realize as well, which ties into this, that, I'm a firm believer that I've never wanted to look back on my life when I'm, older and go, man, I should have given that a go.
Right. Yes.
I've always, and me and my dad, this is what got me to where I am today. Me and my dad had a conversation 10 years ago, maybe. I was working in a call center while wrestling, just working a shoot job while I was on the independent circuit. And I hated it. I didn't have enough time to do what I wanted to do with wrestling, and I knew I was meant to be a wrestler. And I had this long chat with my dad where I was like, Dad, I understand that I need to have some kind of stability going into this, but I said, I've got to give this a go because I don't want to look back and not do it. And fair props to my dad. My dad was like, okay, go for it. And I set myself a time frame, and it was because of that I was able to meet the people that I met. I was able to wrestle on the shows during the week that I wouldn't normally have been able to wrestle if I worked a full-time job. I got to do the Lucha Underground stuff, which I've talked about him quite regularly, because this is kind of a full circle thing for me, where one of the first people to really give me an opportunity to like really push myself was a guy called Ryan Smile. I'm not sure if you're aware of Ryan. He used to run a company called Lucha Forever, and he was one of my best friends. He unfortunately passed away some years ago. So for me, it's kind of a full circle thing, because I know how excited he would be and how much he would laugh if he heard like, oh, by the way, you're wrestling Cope and Christian, at the O2 in London.
Right.
On one of the biggest pay-per-view. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of a full circle thing with like that I'm in a very nostalgic sort of mood at the moment. But yeah, makes you realize that sometimes you just got to give everything,
Yeah. We'll close it out with this. So
yes, please.
I was doing a little research, and I had no idea you were into golf. I had zero.
Oh, I am. I have a simulator in my garage that I've been building. Yeah. I'm a big golf guy. I got to play with Cam Smith.
I saw it on your Instagram. I saw that.
Great dude.
Well, so how envious, jealous maybe were you about MJF getting a role in Happy Gilmore too? Did you?
Oh, I've been. Do you know what really hurt me?
What?
So me and Max in the original, like, we wrestled before AEW in front of TK, in front of like, I think like 80 people in like a really small, like underground rock. Like it was packed with like 80 people. I was like crazy, right? So I've known Max a long time. We've been as friendly as you can get with MJF a long time.
Right.
I went up to him and was like, I'm so pissed off that you got to do this and you got to meet all of these guys. And he goes, well, like who? And I was like, dude, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, what, like the Irish guy? I was like, Rory McIlroy.
You mean Rory? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy. Oh yeah, just yeah, cool. Yeah, just casually hanging out with you. Oh, you got to hang out with John Daly. Yeah, cool. Yeah, solid. You know what I mean? Sanders, that's pretty sweet. You know what I mean? But John Daly, like, grip it and rip it, man.
That's it. Have a couple.
Yeah, big golfer. Shout out to Lucas Herbert.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Well, this Sunday you're going to be teeing off on Cope and Christian. So
that would be pretty solid, wouldn't it? Maybe I'll bring my driver with me.
Yeah, bring your driver. Why not? Why the heck not?
You know what I mean, little 300-yard draw across his face.
That's it, man. That's it. August 24th, this Sunday on pay-per-view. Check it out.
Wait.
And thank you for joining me, brother.
Thank you, man.
All right.